Okay, here's part two. So here's where things kind of get a little bit messy because I can't remember what happened, but I think it was mostly just me paying for commissions at that point. I was like doing back and forth, like asking for certain characters. He was like getting exceedingly more and more angry about how I was doing multiple commissions, even though it was kind of the point of commission. Like they were $5 a piece and they weren't that hard to draw. I feel like $5 is a bit much just for some simple doodles and whatnot, in my opinion. But that's beside the point. I mean, it helps out the artist and whatnot, I guess. I mean, I was talking about certain things and whatnot, about how AI artwork is awful, how much AMTs were bad for the environment and whatnot. And he was like agreeing with me on that, and he continued to threaten to ban me just for slightly stepping out of line. And then, of course, the day came where sometime I'm not mistaken, like late, like September or something like that, maybe October. I had my DeviantArt account banned because of the fact that I uploaded artworks with another and got into another extreme petty squabble with another artist guy that I should not name here. But basically, I uploaded commissions and told him about that. I was cool with it, but then when I went to remove the names because he blocked me because I was upset he wouldn't draw a certain type of character anymore because I don't know, just wanted variety, I guess. And I told him not to talk to me because I wouldn't talk to him, and then I removed his name because I was being petty. I made a DeviantArt post saying how much strict he was and whatnot. And he was like deleting my post for alleged harassment. And then I realized that he had a second account where he could obviously report said images because, they were my commissions and I thought of you. And then, obviously, I was obviously a bad person in that situation too, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this could have been chatted out somehow. And that was just basically a whole mess on its own. I basically told that person to end their own life multiple times and whatnot. I'm obviously not proud of that, and I just want to move forward with it. That's why I mentioned it here as well. But how does this tie back into Crispy? Well, basically, I told him that my account was banned, and he got basically started like acting like I was the villain here, even though in reality no one was truly the villain there. They were both people in that situation were not being good in that situation. And basically I had to get my grandma again to explain to him that it was this whole mess and whatnot, and how he wanted me to behave myself and whatnot. And so it was good for a while longer, but then there was this another guy that I do not want to mention the name of. I did mention my DeviantArt event post, which probably wasn't the best idea, but this guy who was a friend of Crispy was had this whole gold sheet, whatever, and I wanted to edit the post because I edited my own images and whatnot. Basically, I paid Crispy $1 every single time he made a slight error, and obviously that was very stingy of me, but also kind of ridiculous how I basically accepted $1. I probably should have never brought it up to him in the first place. Very bad decision on my part, but he obviously was still being very salty at the time and whatnot. So that's why I've just been kind of, basically just paying him just to slightly move one pixel to the left and whatnot. And I even had him do other people's commissions for $2, and I was basically just doing the whole impulsive thing over and over again. And that was just what was I doing at the time? I obviously still wasn't thinking. I wasn't even 20 yet, so obviously this was still not excusable despite being a 19-year-old. But like I said, I didn't know any better at the time and whatnot. So yeah. Anyway, not to get sidetracked here again. The guy who made the post was usually kind of like a person who got way too much information into it. I mean, going to make Caillou whatever because Crispy made a image of Caillou as a joke, whatever. But going to make community, making poking fun of the going to make community and whatnot. And basically, I decided that I mentioned that to his friend, and then all of a sudden, he decided to go off on tangent and start mentioning how he was considering suicide for being harassed. And I don't think you should really tell this to me because this isn't really my place, but I was trying to be sympathetic at the time, and I just felt that it was out of the blue just to mention that to a 19-year-old man who was obviously, probably very impressionable, thinking about that. And basically, he kind of just, I don't remember what happened to him, but I think he kind of just like, I didn't really tell him anything else, because after that I kind of just had a few more things submitted to him, and then I kind of just basically deleted his messages and whatnot. So that is why I just feel like that was very, very off-put, off-color and whatnot, just to be talking this to a person you didn't really know of, because you were friends with a big YouTuber and whatnot. So yeah. Speaking of which, I just feel like Crispy also has kind of gone too personal as well, because I got personal with him as well. So basically, it was like asking commissions again, because I was still kind of trying to be enthusiastic despite that downer of a mention or whatever about suicide. And he was like, shut up and whatnot. And he was like, why are you still talking to me? I mean, I thought you were moved on about the commissions. I was like, what did I ever do to you? He said, or something like that. I mean, I can't recall, because this happened years ago. He said, because my dad got cancer. I was like, oh, that's awful. I hope your dad's doing better. And he's like, yeah, I hope so too. And whatnot. And also, I forgot to mention that I also mentioned that I had completion anxiety to him and pseudo OCD, but I'll more on that later. And whatnot. So kind of like made jokes about how having OCD and whatnot, and he kind of took that literally and assumed that I did have OCD. But I did tell him that I had mild Asperger's. I never had OCD, but this is the internet, so you never know who you can believe. But this is my side of the story and whatnot. So obviously, just kind of had to mention that and whatnot. So yeah. So basically after that, and kind of continue commissions. I got some early access commissions before they were posted, sometime like January 2023-ish, or like December 2022-ish, and whatnot. Various different characters for that one Warner Brothers Multiverses game and whatnot. It was, it'd be very hyped at the time, whatnot. People were excited, wanted to have varying characters and whatnot, and had a bunch of other characters, like Adventure Time characters. And I think on that post with all those Adventure Time guys, Crispy basically said something really, really, kind of a bit far tangent, and show his inability to understand that certain people ask for a lot of stuff, and he should learn to put their foot down before it's too late. He basically said that you should have people as many people as possible, and okay, then that's. But the point is that you have a lot of commissions and whatnot, and he come off as very inconsiderate to me and whatnot. So that kind of just came off as wow, that was very out of the blue and whatnot. You're being very kind of stingy and ridiculous of how you portray your customers as human beings and whatnot. Okay, and I basically chatting, doing a lot of stuff before the incident, and then that led me down this path. Basically, I was making jokes and about how my manhood would drop further than the New Year's ball. And he was like, I don't get it, because that, that's very mature. Even though I could have sworn that Crispy might have made jokes about that kind of stuff too. I mean, this guy has been a big fan of SMG4, and even did a little thing whatnot, and SMG4 has known to make very naughty jokes and whatnot. And Crispy also probably makes Gmod videos that have swearing in them. I mean, it doesn't have voice acting, if I recall correctly, and whatnot. So yeah, that's just what I was thinking. So yeah, that's when all hell broke loose. Mainly sometime in January 2023-ish, I think. I was offering to skip ahead, and he was skip ahead onto another sheet. He was like, are you trying to steal business from other people? And no, I wasn't trying to do that. It was no, yes you are, because you're basically forcing me to work ahead. It's no, I was just trying to be considerate here, because I wanted to get this done over with as soon as possible so I can leave you alone. It's no, you're not. Listen to me. I know you're trying to be totally using my clout for business. And it was okay, fine, you win. I guess I was wrong. like, yeah. And it was like, and then I mean, like, and they like still got on me for it, like trying like be the case, and like we chat a little bit more, trying to like offer and like whatnot, like trying to offer like all these different things. And then when the offer happened, I was like he was like very, 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 very cantankerous that day. He basically told me that I was like being like overreacting and whatnot, emotionally manipulating him or something. Like I mean, I think that was the case, and like, and it's like, yeah, I guess, and like whatnot, and like saying, because he told me one point he told me to shut up, and I was like gonna cry, whatever. I felt like I was about to cry, but I didn't that day, and he was like, and then I was saying, I'm glad I made it this far, and he told me don't be so dramatic, and then after that he said, you know what? I mean, I forget about this. I'm just going to tell your grandma that you have been very immature. And it's like, very upset about that. And then he went on to told my grandma and whatnot. But more of that will be discussed. The aftermath will be discussed in part 3. So stick around.